Start with that. Check the feet. Like I said, you know. Shalom. 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 All right. You good? Good. Shalom. If you're ready, Israelites, come in. You can. You count day in, day out, prophesy, you out follow the destruction of America. Also known as Babylon the Great, according to the Holy Scripture. We start when we give all glory, honor, and praise. Nobody see the apostles bring us the shalom on the shalom like peace and mercy to you. All right. Yeah. But if GMS church, we got the elder brothers, GMS Richmond Church. Back to prophesy the downfall of construction in this place. You see, it's just a various topics, but it's going to go into particular things according to prophecy. Our relatives are in our lesson. So that's good. It's Revelation chapter 12, verse 12. Therefore rejoice in heaven, ye that dwell in them, both to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down to you, having great wrath, because he knows that he has but a short time. Yeah, the devil is on this earth, the so-called white man, okay? And he knows he has a short time. We got to keep power, all right? That's why Trump passed a big bill. That's what I'm speaking about, which is it's a budget cut bill, all right? And the main thing that people are pissed off about that bill is Medicaid stamps, all right? And other things, various things. But this Trump, he's that cool Lord, man. And he tricked you people, okay? He tricked you bad. He backed his own supporters. All right, make Canadians. He making America worse. All right, and there's no rebound from this. All right, due to the laws, he is bad, man. All right, get that second scripture. The first John. Yeah. It's That's the book of John, chapter 2, verse 15. It says, "Love not the world." No. It should be verse 18. Okay. Oh yeah, he did start. You got it. You want to start at 15? Whatever. You should. Okay. 18. It's First John chapter 2, verse 18. It says, "Little children, it is the last time." It says, "And as ye have heard that Antichrist shall come, even now, as there are many Antichrists, whereby we know that it is the last time." Right. So it kills the doctrine. These other camps talk about, there's like some Antichrist is gonna come. That whole bullshit. No, it just means against that. I was shy. Okay. Our Lord said. All right, and the ultimate Antichrist is Eastern. Due to the laws of fasting, you know what I'm saying? His whole ways, his whole setup, man. All right. Right now, what's going on? You got Esau. He's deporting our people, mainly our tribe, the children of Israel. He's not deporting the Africans and all that stuff like that. He's not focused on them. He's focused on our people, the tribes. All right, and it's a big uproar about people are losing their minds. They're outraged. Dies reporting that Trump, he reported Southern Kingdom, man, Haitians, Bengals and stuff like that. Okay, yeah. And not only that, he's not even reporting back to their country. Because you got people reporting that we got a Florida concentration camp called Alligator Alcatraz. Yeah. All right, he throwing your ass down there, and your ass might get tortured, man. Or what's the other one y'all called? What's the other one called, y'all? Which one? Not Guantanamo, but Well, you had, like I said, the regulars are Alcatraz.
Alcatraz, yeah, that's
Alcatraz is the regular one.
Yep, and then you got Alcatraz, alligator Alcatraz or something like that.
May I make a statement? Go ahead.
That's in the Florida Everglades too. It's surrounded by like wildlife and shit like that.
It's been alleged that they've been rounding up immigrants allegedly and taking them over the ocean. All right, in those C-130 type planes that can allow the rear tailgate to open mid-flight and just dropping bodies allegedly into the ocean, man. And this is the wickedness of what the brothers read about in Revelation 12.
Yeah.
This devil coming down having great wrath, man. Just add it to your point, don't you?
And to add on to your point, this last year was 31 body spiral since January.
Get somebody get the apocrypha. Let's leave that 34 and 22. Because over there right now, the scripture said the earth shall rise up against them, right? And right now, what you got over there in Philly, you got people on the sanitation and trash strike, man. All right, they're striking because the money that they're paying people to work the sanitation, they're not paying them enough money because the price of living is going up. All right, and then people demanding a higher wage, man. And that's what, see, man, that's the problem with you, Esau, man. He don't want to pay people for their worth, man. Okay? There's a lot of problems that be fixed if you just pay people more, but this motherfucker's weak. All right? He said no. Okay? He just wanted this part of the world, he gonna work your ass to the bone. You all right? He gonna squeeze all the juice out you. It's like you squeeze a lemon or something like that, a lime. You know what I'm saying? You gonna squeeze all the juice out you and then throw you away, just like that.
That's the whole part. That's the whole point of this man's system. He pretty much works you to death. You know what I'm saying? And he brings in a new individual that can replace you. Right?
And Morgan said it. He said a battery. He showed a battery. A battery. He used the battery. He used the juice out of the motherfucker. He throw it away. It's like that. It's shit crazy.
I got that.
Get that Canadians, Starbucks, get in there.
And Sirach 34 and 21, the bread of the needy is their life. He that defraudeth him thereof is the man of blood.
Yeah, if I can say so. It says the bread of the needy is their life, right? So here it is. People, Billy Yashawami brought it out a few times. You have something called an economic slave, right? You look up an economic slave, it's pretty much a person that has to work for their daily bread. To produce for themselves in order to sustain themselves, right? Right now, we're pretty much in a rat race with this stuff. Like the average person that, like I said, slaving for themselves, so if you take away that living, which either their jobs or their the way they make their money, you're pretty much a bloodshedder. Which I won't speak about that, brother. Continue. You know what I mean? One more time. Yeah, I was just saying, like the economic slave person that pretty much has to provide for themselves.
Pretty much one that ain't gonna live check. There you go. There you go. Which the vast majority of us are all living check.
Sirach 34 and 22, he that taketh away his neighbor's living slayeth him, and he that defraudeth the laborer of his hire is a
Well, to be an employer for one is a slave. I mean, it's like the employee.
Yeah.
To an employer is a slave. Literally in the definition itself. But like Brother Omar just mentioned, if you're living check to check and you're being defrauded of that example due to AI, all right, because they're transferring a lot of jobs to this automated intelligence, or what is it, artificial intelligence, all right, you're losing your jobs to robots, allegedly, okay, then he's defrauding you of your living. He's a bloodshed. Right, because he's keeping you from being able to provide for your family. Brothers got not only themselves to take care of, they got women and children, you see? And necessities that have to be provided for. So this Edomite man is not allowing you to do what you need to do in order to buy in the big beautiful bill, which I was just looking up on it, cutting the SNAP benefits, all right, welfare recipients, as well as dealing with Medicaid.
Edomites. We always mention this every time we talk about Food Stamp Act and Lyndon Baines Johnson and how it was a legislation that was passed
with the president of the United States. You know what I'm saying? That shit was for the Edomites. They the main ones. They the highest recipients of welfare in the United States of America. They are. That shit. That legislation was passed for those poverty-prone whites.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Trailer park trash. Edomite, redneck Edomites. You know, like the Edomites they showed you on what's that goddamn shit called with Owen Wilson, the movie for 2006, and the niggas was retarded or something. But idiocracy.
Yeah.
They showed you that idiocracy. The people that they were using to portray was retarded and all this shit. And then they had the opposite side of the spectrum where they have the Edomites that didn't want to have no children. And they had the dumb, stupid Edomites on the other side. Oh, they was Edomites up in there who was all retarded. They couldn't put a block in the square. You know,
The vast majority of these people, like you mentioned, that do receive the welfare are Edomites. But this is also going to affect Jake. And this is the time we're coming into, the time of Jacob's trouble, right?
But Jake, we used to being low and having nothing. When the Jake had 6 children, a wife, and a 2-bedroom shack in the 50s. You know what I'm saying? You see, so we familiar with struggle, hardship. You know what I'm saying? Because the elders, the brothers, was going into Edomite TikTok about a whole bunch of these Edomites still on there complaining and shit. Well, a lot of brothers, I ain't seen one of the elder Moatzes like that. You know, but I think that was something. You know,
You're right. There's enough complaining about this bill that's being passed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dealing with them not being able to keep up with the cost of living and the economy and things like that, how they're being affected. You know, and like you mentioned, Jacob been dealing with this, right? And this the thing. All you proud motherfuckers who've been relying on the system, trusting in Egypt, all right, are going to be affected by this bill that's coming to get ready to, that's not coming. It's already been signed into law. You got something else? Go ahead.
Jeremiah 51:6. Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man's soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity. It's the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. Babylon have been a golden cup in his hand. That made all the earth trumpet. The nation had a trumpet of one, like what they wanted to. What was that? With the Rockefellers in the early 1900s, they basically said, I don't need a nation for things, I need a nation for workers. So they pretty much had made a system where they were eventually, bring in the civil rights, get everybody soft speaking, give everybody gifts, soften them up, get them comfortable, get them handouts. If you get comfortable and dependent, because when you make someone dependent, then what? They're weak. You break them down and make them weak, like a crackhead or a junkie. You give them drugs, you make them weak, you make them dependent. That's Esau system. Then eventually, what happened? The Esau came in with the other what section in welfare, not welfare. Like I said, what's the term when they take that same term, they take it foreign aid, and also weaken the nations. And so this is what you're seeing that everybody weak, and now Esau is basically pulling off the what is it that covered cast of being a hero amongst the nation, and he about to show his horns. So now everybody's upset. But like I said, I wish I understood. This man's a devil. He goes in the, what, 1970s, the golden era Baywatch, he came as a hero. But now he's really a hero. He's the devil. Now he's ready to show you his horns.
That's that conditioning.
Yeah.
These conditioning and programming, and ultimately, like we always like to say, all roads lead to the mark of the MOTB. Right? He's conditioning you. He's coercing you. And he operates out of order, out of chaos, and he uses a process of gradualism, man. I got a quick precept to follow you up. Huh? This is in Proverbs 22:7. It says, "The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender." And the majority of our people, they think that they ain't servants, that they free.
Some made credit.
Yeah.
Rashad, can I bring this article? This is from CBS News, published today, July 4th, 2025, right? I'm going to jump straight to the point. It says, this bill, talking about the big, beautiful bill, is partially paid for by significant cuts to health care and nutrition programs like Medicaid and the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP. The congressional, but which most Jake
All right, depending on that, right? It said the Congressional Budget Office estimates the bill will add 3.4 trillion to federal deficits over the next 10 years and leave millions without health insurance. Republicans in the White House dispute. So
No more medicine.
there you go.
No more psych meds. No food stamps. No more food stamps.
Which, hey man, I'm gonna be honest, shit. Even I use SNAP benefits to my benefit. You know, SNAP, you know what I'm saying, to my benefit, man, as far as using this world. But this the thing, I'm not solely relying on it. These people are, we relying on the Lord to trust in him that smote us, Isaiah 10, right? But in trust in Yahweh Shem Shai, the Holy One of Israel, man. All right, our trust lies in Yahweh Shem Shai, man. But the rest of you individuals who trust in the shadow of Egypt are going to go down with Egypt, man. And this system is failing, you're going to go down with it, man. Because your whole hope is in this society, in this system. That's why people will be on fucking welfare for decades, man. 30, 40 years.
Been the projects for 3-4 generations.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's a generational curse. I asked Chat GPT, how will the big beautiful bill affect the poor? You know what I'm saying? Which the poor is Israel, right? Is what it said. They say, can you clarify what you mean by the big beautiful bill? That phrase could refer to different things depending on the context. All right. So I put on in the context of cutting government assistance like food stamps, Medicare, right? This is what it said. Thanks for clarifying. If the big beautiful bill refers to legislation that cuts government assistance programs like food stamps, Medicaid, or Medicare, the effect on the poor would likely be significant and negative. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to affect our people in a negative way, man.
Right.
Significantly, he said significant. You got something?
Yeah, real quick. Sirach 13 and 18. It said, what agreement is there between a hyena and a dog? What peace between the rich and the poor?
Damn.
As the wild ass, the lion prey is the wolf in the wilderness, so the rich eat them of the poor. As the proud hate of humility, so do the rich avoid the poor.
Yeah, now if I can add, that's why you have this ongoing tension between what the rich and the poor. Like, and what you see right now, it has been an ongoing thing, literally from thousands of years. You always had that aristocratic people, and you have what the what they call it, the play.
Lower class.
Middle class.
Right, the middle class.
So-called,
Will.
you only have middle class, you only have term in the column. Everywhere else is only rich and poor.
That's why I use the term plebeians and patricians. You know what I'm saying? So you had that aristocratic group, and you always had that plebeian group, which is rich and the poor. You always had a beef between those two because you always seen how the poor envied the rich, how they were living. It's nothing different, man. These rich nowadays, now you have something called the super rich or super elite, where they're living like luxurious lifestyles to a point you could never imagine. But eventually, what's going to happen? Pursuant to the scriptures about the book of Job, where it talks about the we're talking about the workers, the laborers, which is the workers. They're going to eventually start to create those uproars, man, because of the indifference between the markets, man, and not only just the markets, but just the overall living, man. People catching fucking hell down here, man. The average person, man, they can't afford the cost of living. They can't afford gas, groceries, the necessities of life, man. So what you think gonna fucking happen, man?
And you see that in every historical period, man.
Yes.
Anytime the leaders of society became self-centered and just focused on themselves, greed.
Yep.
What it said on Rush Hour 2, the Chinese brief said that anybody, he had a specific called the Red Dragon.
Yeah.
He was talking to him, he said something like, you know what happens to that emperor? And he said, greed will kill us all. And they stabbed him. So anytime when the heads, all right, they put themselves for the people, that's when the overthrow of the government comes.
That's what caused the riots. What causes the riot? Because the people see they getting treated unfairly, and they like, man, fuck this, man. That's when you start to tap in second nature, 15, and 16 chapter, man.
That's what they said about Trump too, real quick, and with the big beautiful bill about how that's what they said. Talking about like, Trump, he can do whatever he wants, and then his supporters, so to speak, his supporters They like, man, to hell with Trump. He got a property at Mar-a-Lago. He got a golf course and all that shit. He looking good. This nigga eat good. He ain't gonna be affected by this big beautiful bill. And you got it.
Right. If you mind if I bring this up, just some little information, right, about Jeff Bezos. He just recently had a wedding, right? He said that, Jeff Bezos just recently wedded Lauren Sanchez, estimated to cost between 46 and 55 million, right? They said exactly. They said that that's only a very small fraction of his estimated 244 billion net worth. It's specified between 0.019 and 0.023 of his own wealth, man. So you mentioned the super elite. It made me think about this information I just recently came across about his wedding, right? He spent 55 million, but that's only a fraction. And guess what they compared it to? His workers. All right, they compared it to his workers, said they could work for the next 50 years and not make that amount of money. All right, millions of dollars. So they doing a compare and contrast between the workers that's still living off of SNAP, all right, living off of Medicaid and welfare. Yes, workers, full-time workers that still needing government assistance to sustain themselves and their families. Meanwhile, he's having weddings that's only a 0.02% of the net
What he
worth.
says, I think people are waking up to the fact that these small hats, all right, aren't taxpayers' money is going towards funding them wars, man. You know, the back of Iran, the weapon money that they need, you know what I'm saying, to get from the US, we pay for that shit, man.
Yep.
So people are calling these small hats out. Y'all got it.
Yeah, can he get that Proverbs back one time?
Gotcha.
There's some meat on that. And I had a quote.
This is Proverbs chapter 22, verse 7. It says, "The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender."
Right now, we're gonna break that down, but we want to get the quote from one of the Rothschilds, right?
Yeah, it says the phrase "let me issue and control a nation's money, and I care not who writes the laws" is a quote attributed to Meyer Amschel Rothschild, the founder of the Rothschild banking dynasty.
Now bring that back.
Gotcha. This is Proverbs 22 and 7. "The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender."
Right. So according to that quote we just read and the scripture, all right, if you control and dictate the money, the monetary system, it doesn't matter the rules that's being put out there, man, because you control the monetary system, man. Which in all actuality, if you control the monetary system, you control the infrastructure that's there. You know what I'm saying? So this is where we at, man. And now you about to see what a switch to what a digital infrastructure. There was a woman by the name of Catherine Austin Fitz, and she spoke about the prison planet and other financial things, and she was talking about how pretty much they're creating a society where the technocracy will be governor, and not only that, like the money that you have will be issued out and like pretty much like coupons, if you will. She was talking about how like you had a certain amount of money, they'll be able to control how you spend it and when you spend it. You have like an expiration date on it, so to speak. And that's gonna lead to the shit, man. We understand, we see and understand what's happening, man. It's these average people don't see, man.
I got that word. It's like technocracy.
Come on, get that word.
I'll get it right now.
Yeah, get the word.
This a technocracy from ChatGPT. Technocracy is a system of governance or management in which decision makers are selected based on their expertise in a given area, particularly science, engineering, economics, or technical knowledge. Rather than being elected through political means, leaders in the technocracy are chosen for their skills and experience in management complex systems.
I.e. Elon Musk, man.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I.e. Elon Musk. Where do you think this nigga came out, man? He came from nowhere, man. And then you had the World Health. I ain't even gonna say the full thing, so we don't want the video getting clipped. But you had the water. You had the who. Yeah, you had the who. You know what I'm saying? And you had Elon Musk, because people wondering like where he came from. The technocracy is always, it's been in implementation for years, man. They just now laying it out, man.
What's the fourth industrial revolution?
What we see right now.
They want you to be a cyborg and have sex with robots. Hey, no, I see that shit with Elon Musk. You know, it was some article that they had who was talking about that. That's what they want. Well, they showed you in the fucking movie Demolition Man. The bitch Sandra Bullock is Sylvester Stallone. He on some old school popping like this. I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get up in you, you know? They put the Then he go to his head, the virtual reality. That's just like what the fuck is that movie called? Ready Player One.
Yeah.
You get the virtual reality. You motherfucking, you know what I'm saying? That's how these people gonna be. That's how these. That's how the elite. That's how they want the people to be, man. They don't want you to be focused on, all these fucking, if the word the dystopian type of fucking movies. They don't want you to be worried about making money and none of that shit, man.
Can I say that to you?
Yeah.
It's like it. I'm getting right to you, right? Techno crazy. Techno, right? Then with the technical, and then what is crazy? Yeah.
Rule.
You got it, bro.
Yeah, it's another term that's similar. It's called technocracy, which it says is AI trying to.
That's the same word. That's the same word you read it.
No, that's technocracy, but then there's another term called technocracy, which is a system ruled by technology itself, or AI and machines making decisions and not humans.
Yeah, because that's why they had the situation with the ports when they had the strikes with the workers at the port, because they don't want no automation in the ports. They don't want, because that's gonna take away their jobs. You know what I'm saying? The regular people niggas been working there for 30 years, and foremans and different individuals, high up in that, that position that they hold. They don't want no automation in the ports, man. You know what I'm saying? And automation take over everything.
Yeah, and that,
The food industry. You know what I'm saying? They got the Taco Bell where you could just that's what the kiosk come in. Well, I don't need I don't need a cash register, a cashier. I don't need a fucking cashier for what? That's a waste of money. You know what I'm saying? It's a waste of money. But I don't need a cashier. I could just program. You could download this fucking computer program to this artificial intelligence from the information that I got from studying people.
I was gonna say, but the scripture said, when there's no hope, there's no vision. That's what paraphrase. Basically, when there's no hope and no vision here, people do what?
Perish.
They like pleasure. They like simplicity. They like folly. And it's again, when you understand the system, it was the demolition of the rig. It was made for people to become fucking idiots. So they can justify bringing robots in the MOT.
right.
So it's a rigged game system that was meant for people to become idiots. So that's what the scripture said. What is it? Right? What not? 2 Timothy 6. In the last day, the 3 shall come like next to the be loving themselves, become everything to the death. But how can the system come like that? Because we saw made like that. Can I get to do something? A smart thing in one. A wise judge will instruct his people. And the government of the prudent man is ordered. But we know the system is ordered for destruction, to destroy the other people. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers, and what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are they that dwell therein. That's why you got different branches of government, and they're all corrupt. And that's why now Trump come into power and say, this system is corrupt, Biden. The whole fucking system is rigged.
Yeah.
That's what the scripture talks about. Revelation said, talking to a dragon. Yep, that's it.
Hey, can I say this? What Esau wanted this world to be like, if y'all ever saw the movie The Game with Gerard Butler, that's a perfect movie to highlight how he
He
wants
was living their life through
the metaverse.
Yeah.
The fuck, man, this dude, he want to play your ass like a video game. Man.
That's how it was. That's how it was in the movie Ready Player One.
Yeah.
It was the same type of scenario.
Yep.
Well, really, I don't know go to games. I remember what was it? When they issued out Call of Duty and Rainbow Six, you can take the video game, take your picture, make your creative player. NBA, what is it?
2K.
Put your face on the character, maximize the attribute. That's you.
Yeah.
But you're like you're short or you're a cornball, you're a loser. But you're a hero. You that man in the game. Literally. You the man of your life to the game. And people again, when there's no hope, there's no vision, people will resort to shit like that. So they make video games and allow people to be like, lose that cup. You don't need to lead a chair. Mom, you make a sandwich? So you're the game character. So you're not living reality.
That's what it is in social media.
Yeah.
Like Instagram. You know what I'm saying? People, you can be whoever you want to be on TikTok. And to the point you were saying with the individuals that, you know, we watched the movie, it was a movie called Wedding Crashers. I don't know if brothers ever seen that, just to form the mental image for you. You know what I'm saying? That nigga Will Ferrell, this nigga lived in a house with his dog. He lived in the basement and shit. You know what I'm saying? Hey, real talk. You know, so that's how they want. They don't want no people who just, you know, entrepreneurs. They don't want that type of vibe frame. They don't want no entrepreneurs and, you know.
You should have nothing
And be happy.
Yeah.
own nothing. Own.
Well, I'm sorry, Listen, y'all brothers speaking on the technical pricing and the
Technocracy.
Yeah, it's more than that too.
I wanted to, if you got more, you can bring it out. I just wanted to grab this precept, which was initially about to kick off with, right? 1 John 2:15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. And that includes the technology, okay? Because through his miracles, meaning what? Transcendence, the concrete courses of nature, through his miracles, which he about to roll out. Grab that power shot. That you got RFK Jr. talking about the words, okay? Through his technology, through his miracles, all right, transcendent time and course of nature, he's going to try to cause miracles to come to pass, okay? All right, you got a lot of our people, hey, not even just our people, the world, man. When any new technology rolls out, these motherfuckers stand in line to go get it, man. All right, the new system, the new phone, they stand in line the night before that bitch drops to go get it, man. Go ahead, Albert.
The new cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not fucking technical. I like old cars. The new cars is fucking
Trash.
Yeah, that's why they. That's why they showed you all the work behind all the Teslas was crashing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the car got
Even
spilled.
that AI movie that we went to see,
Afraid.
telling you afraid. AI, the supercomputer ruling the world.
Right.
Slow down.
Was that movie that the car took over and crashed?
Yeah, that's a
Yeah, her boyfriend. That was her boyfriend.
That's those autonomous vehicles.
Yeah.
Let me finish this verse and bring the rest of that definition
Yup.
about 1 John 2:15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. James 4:4, right? For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. And the world passeth away, and the lust of the world, but he can do the will of God abideth forever.
And that's why they made women whores. The boys love, hey, you love women to get the boy, she love pleasure. And then men don't have no vision, don't have no hope. Hey, he's gonna seek pleasure. So that's an easy takeover. When shit gets out of whack and out of order, it's an easy smooth takeover. It's just not a fight. They don't want to fight no more. Men say, you know what, I got a belly, I got a gut. So I like it. Fuck it.
Oh,
No.
yeah.
I don't need to lose it.
Talk about, you know what I'm saying? I'm out the World War III, like Iran, stuff like that. These American people ain't ready to fight, man. Most of them are transgenders, cis, and stuff like that. They can't even pass the boot camp test, man.
I seen the chick in Wild Wilds.
They don't know what Wawa is. They don't know that.
She had a military uniform.
Like
she had a military uniform. I said, "Oh, you ready to fight Putin, huh?" She said, "Oh, no, I have a baby before I go over there." I said, "You can't have no kid. Desert your crew." And I said, "Yes, I will." I was like, "Damn, that's the mindset of America. They really not doing it for honor. They're doing it for money."
I got the precept. Got real quick. This is what Kamafia said. This is Jeremiah chapter 51:30. You got that? Now let's fucking go, man. It says the mighty men of Babylon had put the horse to fight. It says they have in their hope. It says there might have failed. It says they become as women. It says they have burned her the dwelling places. Her bars are broken, man. Yeah, man. So just going into what the other justice going into, man. You see the current condition of the state of mind of the people, mainly the men of America. It's sissified. You know what I'm saying? They pretty much been in a mindset of feminism. You know what I'm saying? And we see that they're not set for war, man. Because we understand what's happening right now. Like we're approaching what World War III, which is in the scriptures, the war Armageddon. You know what I'm saying? Armageddon, which is the battle of troops.
I guess what? People are seeing what you're doing to your veterans, man. How you abandon them and shit upon them and all that shit like that, right? They the people that come back from these wars, they fucked up in the head, they do drugs and stuff like that, and it's just there's no benefits from it. And most people are against the divide against this country. So there's no way that listen, bro, I'm telling you right now, if I was to get selected service and all shit like that, you ain't gotta worry about the war, taking the war over there. I'll bring it here. Because you know what I'm saying? Get a gun, hey, the sergeant, guess what, man? I'm gonna bring the war here. Like this.
Well, a lot of people fucked up that they realized they would never know the weapon for natural strength.
Yeah.
So then people start seeking and start looking up certain things. Like, well, I went on there for nothing.
Yeah.
That was, murdering little children, women, and men. Nothing.
Yeah.
That's why that guy, what's the guy with the dread sniper?
I know you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got I always mention it with the General Smedley Butler. Smedley Butler, he wrote the little, it was like a poem or some type of letter or whatever it was. I forget in particular what it was.
Yeah, that's
But he was like a high-ranking official in the United States Army. You know what I'm saying? And he wrote in the Marines, forgive me, I think it was, matter of fact, for brother, look it up, Smedley D. Butler. He wrote the little, it was like a short book, but it was titled War is a Racket. You know what I'm saying? And he had experience in the United States Marine Corps or the United States Army, whatever branch of the military that he was associated with. This nigga came to the realization this shit is a fucking racket.
Yeah.
And he was basically talking about how they send your children to go to war and for them, and you know what I'm saying, and how that shit is a racket, how the rich get richer. You got something on your phone?
Yeah. Smedley Butler. It says he was an American whistleblower and anti-war activist. It says a former major general in the Marines.
Yeah, he was a major general in the Marines. So he was, you know what I'm saying, he was a high-ranking official, man. He wasn't just a PI or a GI. Forgive me. He wasn't just no motherfucking GI. He was a high-ranking official in the Marines.
They call them Georges, huh?
It says
GI too. Yeah, government issue. Which should also go back to galvanized iron. The GI, man.
It says at the time of his death, Butler was the most decorated Marine in U.S. military history.
Ooh, hold on. He was the most decorated Marine. So he had major experience, man. Purple Hearts, different awards, the Lone Star, and whatever else these awards, summa cum laude, summa cum laude. You know what I'm saying? All these motherfucking awards these niggas be giving out to these people, man.
Yeah, they say once a Marine, always a Marine.
To be to the strong, the Marine. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of mind frame. The majority of that's why they call them jarheads. That's really a derogatory term towards you motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? And that's why you have with the Vietnam War. You know what I'm saying? They told them Jakes. They told them niggas go home, so brother, this ain't your fight. You know what I'm saying? You see? So these motherfucking this dude Smedley D. Butler, man, he had what you call like front line experience.
Yeah.
What else is it?
It says after retiring from the Marine Corps, Butler became an outspoken critic of American foreign policy and military interventions.
Yeah, he was an outspoken critic of American foreign policy and military intervention, man. So he wasn't in agreements with that shit, because he probably was to be a major general. This nigga was in the Marines for fucking 30, 40 years before he probably went into the Marines. He was 17 or 18 years old,
It's more.
Which he saw being driven primarily by the U.S. business interests.
Oh, yeah, the U.S. business interests. Keep going.
In 1935, Butler wrote the book War is a Racket, where he argued that imperialist motivations have been the cause behind several American interventions.
You see?
And it says with that clear, 1935, where he argued that war primarily serves the interests of the wealthy, corporations, not the public or soldiers.
Yeah, and that's another indication, the way the economy going in the society in regards to like the cost of living, like food prices and gas and shit like that. That's an indication that they about to go to war. You see?
And that also influences what I was bringing out, how you see these veterans homeless in the streets because they're seeing that, they're seeing. And I went over there and fight. I didn't kill. I didn't get all this for wars, natural resources, gold, and all these various things that it fucks with their mental. So now they fucked up on the street, asking for money, this, that, and so forth. And you telling the United States government abandoned them.
Yeah, like they like you. They like Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah.
For yo.
Yeah, that's a man of war that suffers.
Yeah.
Bubbles the shot. You said that's 1935, right?
Yes,
That's
sir.
back when people were in the mindset of going hard for the war for their country, like fighting hard for their country. That was actually right before many of these projects in America were built in the 1940s and the 50s and the 60s. All right, Jake was in the mindset of going forward. They were sending Jake to war. Bubble the shot. Bring that precept that Jeremiah you just read. Bubble the shot.
It's Jeremiah 51:30. It says the mighty men of Babylon have won the fight. It said they have remained in their holes. It said their might had failed and they became as women.
So they went from being this mighty, militant-minded, fighting for the country, patriotic spirit, all right, in the early 1900s, to being forborn, to wanting to fight, and now they're doing it like the Elder Rogers mentioned for a check. They're doing it now for government benefits, for a Hellcat, for Camaro. They're doing it for different motives now. It's not for the country. It's not, for the women. It's not for the motive of the nation of the country, man. Because they now see it's all for oil. It's all for this, for that, man. There's war crimes that take place, man. You have to kill dogs. You have to kill children. All right, you have to kill women. And many a times they ain't even doing nothing to you, but just because. If Nicholas Urban, Elder Brother just mentioned, he be speaking on it, man.
Yeah, a lot. It's like I mentioned you all.
Go ahead.
A lot of them do because I like a couple months ago I was heavy on that, like watching because it's everything on the internet now. Everything got a podcast. So now you got like these special forces Delta unit niggas. They go into their experiences and they say that like. They go over there thinking you the hero and you saving the day. You realize like, damn, we gonna keep bad guys. We coming in, breaking this dude's house in the middle of the night. He ain't doing shit. We over here executing this shit.
Snowden had that. I just wanted to bring this up real quick for that precept right here. This is from G. Michael Hop, one who is the author of Those Who Remain, The New World, number 7, right? Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. That was during the 1930s. Those strong men, they created this good time that you people and women, men and women are benefiting from today. Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. And we're in that point now where weak men that's joined the army. You got fucking moles in the army, man. You got fucking women in the army, man. Come on, man. This army is weak,
That's why. See, the United States military, it ain't what it used to be. Because at one point, that's why it was so strong. You know what I'm saying? That's why it was so effective. Like the Roman military. There wasn't no fucking women up in there. You see, it wasn't no bowls and none of that shit, man. And even when you go back, see, like when you get we got Independence Day. Went into the first and second Continental Congress with the motherfucking Revolutionary War, the 13 British colonies. You know what I'm saying? Gained their independence from taxation without representation. The Boston Tea Party, all that shit. You see, that's when the military, the nigga Trump, he just celebrated the 250-year anniversary. That should go back to the 1700s, man. You know what I'm saying? It was a point I was gonna make, man. But go ahead, whoever got a precept, go ahead, Elder. Let the elder get here. Let the elder brothers get theirs, man.
Romans 8:22 said, "For we know that the whole creation groaneth and pain together until now, and not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Spirit." Now, like for instance, these Americans, they're upset now because they did not obtain the American dream. Now, through our elders, through the Albashim Shana and our elders, we understand that it was no American dream. Our dream was what? The kingdom. And that's what we're groaning for. But these people here, they're going back. What we only going to the 1970 Baywatch era. They want to go back to the golden days of America. That's why you got the YouTube channel up now
They say, oh, this was the 90s and 80s. Them days ain't coming back.
That's the nostalgia.
Nostalgia, yeah. Them days ain't coming back.
The motherfucking Converse. You know what I'm saying? The leather coats got Converse on the gold chain.
Oh, the days where America was great when we was slavery.
Yeah, when niggas at the bottom.
Yeah, and that's what Edomites, you know what I'm saying? That's what they want. They want us to be back down at the bottom.
Yeah.
Because now you complaining because you're doing bad. Fuck you, man.
That's what they did in history. They always called it. We talked about it on Wednesday. They called it the Dark Ages because of Jake was dominant, and they called it Jake. You know what I'm saying? So when they are in poverty, they make this term, throughout history as this gigantic, dramatic. Yo, this time was the worst time in fucking world history.
Yeah,
That's for them.
and like I was saying with the military, it ain't what it used to be, man.
Yeah, bro.
You see what I'm saying? When you go back to the like I mentioned, the 250th anniversary of the creation of the United States military, with George Washington and all them niggas,
Let me send centennial.
generals and shit.
You remember that old Ethan Mike? When the old was in the video, she said,
Yeah, I hear you smack that.
no, he said, give me a gun. I want a picture.
Oh yeah, I get
He said,
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
He said,
Yep.
he said,
Yeah.
give me a gun.
Yeah.
Shoot him right now.
Yeah. It was a spirit, bro.
Yeah. That was the old ancient doctrine.
Yeah.
Country.
Yeah.
They don't make them like that no more.
That was when men were willing to go to war. It was an honor for them.
He was an old.
Yeah. Oh, he was old. He probably was in World War II.
Yeah.
He probably was right beside Smedley Butler.
Right.
He probably was right in another motherfucking 30s, man. He was probably right beside him, man. And that's that,
They say, no.
Yeah, his buddy came to get him, man.
Yeah.
But it's gonna come a point in time where ain't nobody gonna be intervening. Cause I thought the elder was talking about it was one situation where the bitch was wilding on stage and the Edomite, she's like, help me, brother. And he slapped the text out of her mouth, man. Because at the end of the day, them Edomites like that, they more masculine, man. You know what I'm saying? They ain't feminine like this generation. That's why they'll say the shit that they'll say. They'll say it's a nigger. He's like, the bitch African American. He's like, it's a nigger. You know what I'm saying? They ain't afraid to express how they really feel towards you niggas. It's the younger generation, man. They go crouching. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they politically correct. BC are politically correct.
You mentioned it last week. A euphemism. I had to look that word up.
Yeah.
That's when they, like you said, they give a more PC term.
Yeah.
Because when you say the initial or what it really is too harsh.
Mhm.
Right? A euphemism.
Mm-hmm.
What's that new speak?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that new speak, man. So the scripture talk about they women, they have born to fight. The military ain't the same no more, man. That's why Putin know that. You know what I'm saying? That's why he's taking the position that he's taking with Ukraine, even though Ukraine is a part of NATO, if I'm not mistaken, or if it's either NATO or the EU. I think it's NATO though. I think Ukraine is a NATO member, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't think that.
NATO?
Not NATO.
They're part of the EU.
Okay.
They was trying to join.
Right.
Oh, that's why. Yeah, right. Okay, that's why Putin went in there because Salaki. So they wanted to be a part of NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, man.
They not a part of NATO or the EU.
Yeah, no, the brothers just said it. They wanted to. They was like applying for it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I said I'm just going off the Google.
They said the middle, like between NATO and EU countries that's joint with NATO. They like right in the middle of it.
I got it. So,
Yep.
This is Sirach. Finish yours.
It says, going back to Romans 8:23, and not only they, but ourselves also, which have first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves grown within ourselves, waiting for the adoption, to wit the redemption of our body. You understand that? But it seemed like it's so far off, right? But we still hold faith to this truth, and we still have a vision. We still have hope. The other people in America, they're seeing that, what we have done for this country, not the payoff. And now it's like, we live in check to check. So it's no payout. It says,
And it's so far fetched to these people
hell
that
yeah.
these are the people that are next in line to rulership.
Yeah.
And these are the people that all these other nations are going to serve and be under. Like it speaks about Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter. You know, we say hey, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are the next in line to rule over all these other nations. It's going to be an everlasting rulership. And they look at us like, you ain't got no army, you ain't got no military, you know. Y'all the ones living check to check, and y'all gonna do what? You know? So it's far best to them.
Right.
It's they don't understand that adoption.
Gone.
So exactly going back to
It's spiritual.
the Paul tell you,
Right.
what's the benefit of being an
Exactly.
We got the adoption and covenant
Yeah.
promises.
Yep.
Think about it, we're waiting for that. We're learning in that. We're growing ourselves.
Yeah.
Everybody's growing. Like the scripture said in Proverbs 21, it's when the wicked bear. Everybody's growing. But the thing about us, we have
Because on a corner level, it don't make sense.
yeah.
It don't add up. Statistics don't make sense. You know what I'm saying?
That's that
You
wisdom.
know? Yeah. Come.
Wisdom bring it forth toward the kingdom. You know what I'm saying?
So finishing off, it says, "For we are saved by hope, but hope that is seen is not hope." And you saw gates. You do this, you fight for the country, you dream. People that fought for it and say, "Come back, I'm broke. I'm fucked up. I can't get health care. I'm homeless." So people are now like they're crashing out. You know.
Can I bring this over quick? This is Sirach 26 and 28. It says, there be two things that grieve my heart, and the third maketh me angry, a man of war that suffer poverty. And that's what we're saying, man. People are like, man, hey, if I get drafted, I ain't going to war, bro. Lock me up. Throw me in jail. I see how y'all treat me. And these people that served in World War I, World War II, and these Afghanistan, Iraq, they coming over here, they fucked up, and y'all got them out here in the streets, man.
And look at it, not even just the warriors. I mean, not the military.
Yeah.
Everybody in society has worked the job for 40 years.
Yeah.
Then they ain't got the time.
Nothing to show for it.
Nothing to show for. Everybody's getting fucked. This is, you was told as a kid, do this for America.
You gonna come back here with women.
Everybody gonna come, you know?
Especially them Jakes. You know, you Jake should have took the position like that nigga Cassius Clay. You see, the nigga who formerly known as Muhammad Ali, who's formerly known as Cassius Clay. When you watch that movie with the nigga Will Smith, that nigga said, "You my bozo when I want to hit you. You my bozo." He was out there, devil, bro. He was to them devils and shit, because they wanted him to go over there and fight in the Vietnam War. You know what I'm saying? Jake won with that shit. You know, hey, that's how it's gonna be now. Because it's gonna be a military drive too. Because that's where Muhammad Ali, formerly Cassius Clay, he got caught up in the military drive, and that's because they was going to war. You got something?
I seen the original interview.
Yeah,
that was specifically targeted at Esau.
Yeah.
He was talking about like the Japos and all
Yeah,
that. He said, they ain't my enemy.
Viet Cong ain't never telling my. He was saying that. He was saying, "You my poser when I want freedom. You my poser and I want liberty." He was going in. That dude Muhammad Ali was, man.
And
You know?
And I said that the original interview Muhammad Ali was speaking about what the other brother talking about. He was specifically targeting Esau because he was saying like the Japos, which is Ammon. You know what I'm saying? He was saying like they ain't really the enemy. He was saying like all the ones that really give me
Oh, yeah, who are crazy say you my poser. We were opposing me and you were opposition to me. That's what basically what Muhammad Ali was saying, man.
Yes.
You know? Go ahead.
Well, what did y'all just read though?
Home state.
I had a preset on that. Oh, shit, right.
Can I finish it down?
Yeah, I read some rock.
It says that, "For we are saved by hope, but hope that is seen is not hope. What a man seeth, why do we get hope for? But we hope for that we see not in the kingdom." That's why, again, as years have gone by, as long as we've been in the truth, he's been increasing and growing better. His character, like everybody else around us,
Our hope is high and our hope is growing. You know, they look at us like, how are we excited about what's going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, how y'all excited about this? We excited about what's going on. You know?
That's because 2/3 of our people, 66.6% of y'all are the house of Saul. And Lord willing, y'all about Shemel Shadrach, because I will be the house of David. The scripture talk about how the house of David waxed stronger and stronger.
Yes,
You know what I'm saying? In the house of Saul, we got so it didn't exist no more. So you niggas, you know what I'm saying? Spiritually, y'all represent the house of Saul and gonna come to a point where you niggas ain't gonna exist no more, man. You know? Y'all got something? We about to close.
Yeah, yeah. This is
I got sorry.
This is Sirach 26 and 28. It says, there be two things that grieve my heart, and the third maketh me angry. A man of war that suffered poverty, and men of understanding that are not set by, and one that returneth from righteousness to sin. The Lord prepareth such, and one for the sword.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a point. He made a video, and for brothers that do know Elder D-Mash, you know, he served, you know, in the military. You know, he had to do particular things where, you know, he had to, you know, actually, you know,
Unalive.
unalive people, man. And Elder D-Mash did a video a couple weeks ago, maybe a month or two ago, and he was just speaking about his personal experience regarding that matter, man. And that's a real effed up position, man. Where here it is, you put your life on the line, literally to serve a country, you know, and they don't hold to their promises, man. All right, and a lot of them veterans and stuff like that, they depend on those benefits and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Just the money they be having, and they don't see through it, man. Because America, this is a corrupt place, man.
Yeah.
See, people they complaining about this place for what it is, man. We've been telling you all this place is wicked, man. We've been telling you all that this place is not for your benefit, man.
Yeah, and if I can say this, one of the reasons why a lot of these like military veterans be fucked up and conflicted in the mind because of like the oath that they take.
Yes.
It's something. It's like with doctors, for example, you got something known as the Hippocratic oath when they promise to do no harm and so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like similar to that with the oath that's associated with the military, man. And that's why they be conflicted about that in their mind after they serve. And you know, like Brett said, they go in like, hey, I'm a fucking bad guy.
Hey, for instance, a book. There's two books. Both get by Dr. Paul Anderson. Dirty Little Secrets and More Dirty Little Secrets. He goes heavy to what is it, Reconstruction era, the Black Code, Jim Crow era, and basically how Jake in the 1800s, the late 1800s, and early 1900s, and early 1800s, on to World War One, II, and how Jake would put their life on the line just to come back and had to go through racism.
Yeah. Yep.
And got nothing. And yo, it said after World War II, when they fought and won the war with the Germans, Jake, Esau hated on him. So they have to come back and say, like, you ain't getting no house.
Yeah.
And it would take me your money. And you niggas ain't gonna have your freedom. And Jake during them time fighting for their freedom. And fighting for a little bit of coin and shekels. But actually getting all over on them. Basically, at the end of the day, Jake did not get what they fought for. So and when you go through history, that's what they used to tell you, I'm gonna forget. No, that was far long ago. But I'm pretty sure certain brothers have seen that great-grandfather, great-grandparents.
Well, that movie Sinners goes into that.
Yes.
He basically came back from, I think it was World War I, and fought just to come back and deal with racism.
Yep, there you go.
That shit. So.
Yeah, it was a movie, another good movie called like Mudbound. I don't know if Jake familiar with that movie, but that's a good movie that illustrates, you know, the position that Jake was in when they came back for the war. It showed you that because this a thing too, because when they went off the war, it was integration. That they integrated with blacks and whites. You know what I'm saying? So after the war, you'll have Jake that was over there in Europe or Vietnam, whatever country they was in particular, right? They'll be friends with the Edomites. They're friends, smoke cigarettes, go to what shit called when they go off leave. I forget what it's called. They go on leave, go to the bar,
Right.
you know, fuck with the $2 hoes, you know, Bangkok and whatever fucking country they was in, right? They was cool with the Edomites. They was, you know, buddies and shit. But then when they came back to America, you know what I'm saying? It was still segregated. You You know what I'm saying? They couldn't be friends. You couldn't be seen out in public.
Yeah,
You'll get hung. You'll get lynched. You know what I'm saying? Or you, if you was an Edomite, you would be labeled like a nigga lover.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So you would be ostracized from that point. But we watched a movie, Mudbound. If brothers not hip to it, that's a good movie that show you that.
and you know, 'cause I spoke to one of my uncles that's still living.
Mhm.
My grandfather's brother. He even said during the 50s and 60s they had very segregated.
Yeah.
They had black school, white school, etc. That was a
Mhm.
ritual.
Mhm.
Now, you know, prior to the civil rights movement, that's when they Esau used the terminology to deceive America, but integrate. Because prior to that, Jake was segregated.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
was segregated.
yeah.
He won't know none of that. That's some big melting pot.
Yeah.
But that was all the smoke screen for social liberation and porn
Yeah.
and all this other bad.
And even further in the
Yeah.
war program, you know,
Yeah,
it's hard to have segregation at a high level.
that's what I'm
And
saying.
to get Jake, you know, serving the military right next to Esau and you know, these other nations in this military, bro. You know?
And that go back to that whole manipulation, deception, witchcraft, and sorcery that Esau played, put on the mindsets of the people. That's why everybody messed up.
Yeah.
Because this whole big world,
Yeah. That's why niggas selling. That's why niggas. That's why niggas selling Independence Day right motherfucking now. That's why. For these motherfucking these warlocks and these wizards, these witches with these motherfucking enchantments. That's why niggas celebrate. Niggas, what that shit called Stockholm syndrome. That's why niggas celebrate the 4th of July. Like I mentioned, when you go to the 4th of July, they go back into the independence from the 13 British colonies from the British Empire. It wasn't no niggas up around that in the second continent.
Was at the birth of the Illuminati. July 4th,
Yeah.
76.
Right. It wasn't no niggas in the second continental Congress. You know, the representatives that they had from each of the colonies that met in I think it was in Philadelphia. I think it was somewhere in Philadelphia where they met for the second continent. It wasn't no niggas up in there, man. You know what I'm saying? So niggas been assimilated to this, you know, this American lifestyle. Like you really believe you're American. You really believe in equality.
They had to put the protest flag down. They say, yo, we ain't protesting the so-called migrants get deported.
Yeah.
We ain't protesting these other things.
Yeah.
Now we celebrate July 4th. It's July 4th, July, guys.
Elder, think about it. What the fuck is
Right.
what the fuck is all that saying about fire?
They represent the war.
Yeah, that's what the Von Jersey. Now we go back to the Star Spangled Banner. It represents independence. That's why they shot the fireworks.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? In celebration of their independence from the British rule, from the British from taxing them. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was. Because that's what they went to war for. We go into the Revolutionary War because the British was taxing them niggas, man. With the Boston tea, they monopolized the tea market. They was taxing the motherfuckers, you know, without their consent. And you see, and that's when the colonies came together. You know what I'm saying? What the fucking war?
And they won that one of wasn't for Jake.
Exactly.
They literally had like extra bodies to actually go to war with.
Yeah.
And it has so-called black sacrifice. So they can put Jake on the front stream and say, we got some bodies.
Yeah, it's that movie, war movie with what the fuck is his name? Denzel Washington. No, it's an older movie. Denzel Washington, Glory. Well, I think Glory was associated with the Revolutionary War, if I'm not mistaken. But when you watch the end of that movie, the conclusion of that shit, them niggas just died. Them niggas just died on Normandy. I think they were going back to storming Normandy or some shit like that, bro. I forget all the details to it, bro. You know what I'm saying? When you watch a movie like Glory, they had the nigga like Denzel Washington, Lawrence Fishburne. That nigga was like, was that Lawrence Fishburne? No, Salakia. What's that nigga name? Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman. You know what I'm saying? That nigga's 50 years old, 60 years old. They got the young Edomite nigga, man. From Ferris Bueller's Day Off. This nigga, he's the general. He's the nigga commando. Niggas went into a hell of gunfire. If Morgan Freeman was in that position, they probably would have died. They probably would have overcame the motherfuckers, man. Yeah.
That was based off the American Civil War.
Okay, Salakia, but it's still relevant. Civil War, nonetheless. Nonetheless. Yo, got something?
I got a quick preset. This is Proverbs 3:31. It says, envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. You know, that's what you see our people doing. They're shooting off fireworks. They got their American flag shirts on and pants. You know what I'm saying? Celebrating their oppressor's holiday, man. You know, when so-called America received its so-called independence. You know, you so-called Eagles, Latinos, and their Americans want to fight that, man. You're still getting lynched, whipped. You were still on them cotton fields, on them plantations, man. You know, you got it, bro.
Look, June, July. It was you niggas wasn't free in June and June 19th, 1775, 1776. Yeah, you niggas weren't free then. That shit came about like a whole nother 200 years later, bro. I'm Mr. Lockett, but like a whole 100 years later. 1863, something around that shit with the Emancipation Proclamation. You niggas weren't even free then, man.
After that,
Yeah, that's right. They had the black codes,
the black code, Jim Crow law.
Jim Crow laws, all that shit. You niggas want, and they said that's when a lot of more Jakes was losing their lives when they did that Emancipation Proclamation. Come on.
Real quick, I probably shot Slacky. Can you bring that preset back? I got a preset for you.
Gotcha. It's Proverbs 3:31 again.
Pancakes up.
Yeah, you know I do. You know I do.
It says, this Proverbs 3:31. Envy thou not the oppressor and choose none of his ways.
This is Psalm chapter 37, verse 1. It says, fret not thyself because of evildoers, and the word fret means worry. It says, fret not thyself because of evildoers, neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity, man. And the reason why you ain't supposed to, man, because we understand their actual destiny, man. These niggas going into slavery, man. These Edomites, man, these heathens, man, all of them going into slavery. Right. All we gotta do is continue doing what we're doing, man. Right. They, regardless of what they say, what they believe, because you got some hardcore Edomites that wholeheartedly believe in the Bible. But guess what? They don't fucking matter, man. They going into slavery, man. It don't matter what. I believe in Jesus and my Lord and Savior. Yeah. You know they touch your man.
Like they
fucking touch
right, like those Edomites during the civil rights era. When they were doing the sit-in with the niggas. Yeah. They was hand in hand, kumbaya. They was walking like hand in hand, arm lock. It was the Edomites. They poured motherfucking milkshake on them and the niggas. Man, Edomites, they was doing that shit, man. Yep. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter.
They going to slavery.
Slavery.
The slave join the hand. It shall not go on. That's
right.
You got to change them.
Yeah. Information to the topic that was being mentioned, right? But during 1776, like everybody mentioned, Jakes were enslaved. All right. Mm-hmm. It says, note the 3/5 of a man clause not in the Constitution anymore, because you were counted as 3/5 of a man, a fraction, right? It was abolished by the 14th Amendment, ratified in 1868. The clause part of the original Constitution, which I was going to bring this up because I mentioned the oath that military officials take, not only military, but also officer personnel. They take an oath to uphold the Constitution.
It's government officials, all that.
There you go. This was initially a part of the Constitution, but it was ratified, it was changed in 1868. The colonial Constitution stipulated that enslaved people would be counted as 3/5 of a person for purposes of representation.
Real quick, bro. That's what Esau always has considered Jake, man. Yeah. He always considered you less than a human being, man. That's why we always go into the pseudoscience, man. This nigga, the IQ, the intelligence quotient, the IQ test, everything was centered around him being better, more superior than you, Jakes. Meanwhile, man, you Edomites, you are the inferior, man. You not better than Jake in any aspect of life, man. Spiritual, mental, physical. Right. You are the lesser, man. The scriptures call you the base man, bro. You know what I'm saying?
It says the 14th Amendment, ratified in 1868, is a cornerstone of American constitutional law, primarily focused on citizenship, equal protection, and process. This was in 1868. All right, almost 100 years later, the America gained its so-called independence. You niggas was not free. You were common as 3/5 of a man.
Bro, and then real quick, man, that's why you wonder if you're a Jake and you watching these movies, you wonder why Esau Edom always propping himself up to be like this
Night shining armor.
Right, this knight shining armor. And Carl, what were you saying? Like Esau always he promoted himself as being the hero. He's against evil and all that. Like nigga, that ain't who you are.
Yeah, humanitarian.
Right, he a humanitarian. He is a philanthropist.
Yeah.
He paints himself as being Bruce Wayne or Tony Stark.
Yeah,
Like that ain't true, man.
Right.
You wicked, man.
Right.
Like you the devil, man.
Right.
Like bro, you gotta understand that this man ain't who you portray yourself to be, man.
Yeah, he masquerading.
Yeah, man. This shit should piss you off as an Israelite man, bro. Like the way this nigga going around portraying himself to be, man.
Because really what he going around portraying himself to be is us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Our Lord, our Lord and Savior, the Heavenly Father, he going around portraying himself and masquerading to be us. You know what I'm saying? Niggas don't got a problem. Niggas is cool with letting the white man come to the barbecue.
Yeah,
Right. It's a white man over there. Hey, over, man. Got the camera on the net. Yeah. Going to watch the nigga, the UPS driver, get a plate.
Yep.
Get somebody got
Man, he's hugging them and all that. That's my brother, man.
All you gotta do is hit it, Doug.
Right. Yeah, he's been done. He cool. No, he got Jordans on, so he cool.
That nigga played a saxophone in the White House.
Right. And he got a blunt. That's how you bring you Jake's over, man. Go ahead. That shit is crazy, man.
They will hold Jake will hold Esau the same standard because if you're a celebrity, a gangster, rapper, or something like that, you gotta check in with the motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? That 100 nigga whack. You know? You talking about this here whack 100. Man. Like the whole Esau, he can come in that bitch. And then they carry things with money, right? Why do Esau like that, man? Let me fuck your wood, do anything, man.
Prime example with the nigga Meek Mills with the bunny hopping. And then another one, one more example, with all white party with the nigga the baby.
Hey,
that's how you grab your bitch. You go from behind it, you know,
They got the double under.
They got sounds.
So and them niggas are so gangster though.
Yeah.
I got one more. Go out.
You gonna call
Sirach 12 and 11. Though he humbled himself, let's start at 10. He said, hey, buddy.
Yeah.
Sirach 12 and 10. The point is 12, right? Never trust thine enemy.
Why not?
Because never is a compound word.
Let's
It's
go.
not ever.
Let's go.
It says, never trust thine enemy. Your enemies is found written in Psalms 83. Or like, as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Rust, you got to cut it out. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him.
But why though?
It says,
Hold on, let me tell you why. Beware of the beast. This song y'all didn't say y'all one of y'all brother get the song and say read. Talk about it. Is he gonna make a wasteland of your land and mine?
that's right.
Real talk.
That's why the scripture say that it was important for the elect's sake, man, because he would destroy the whole earth, including himself.
Yeah.
He destroying the air that he got to breathe.
Right now.
It says, Sirach 12, verse 11, right? It says, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust has not been altogether wiped away. It says, set him not by thee, lest when he had overthrown thee, this is the point, he stand up in thy place. Because you just mentioned that he seek to overthrow us and want to be in our hold the birthright. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. He trying to accuse us before the Lord.
What's the dude name? That just joined with the military platoon. What's the dude name? Nah, not him. It's the dude that merged. Anyways, that's what he was just saying. They just did an interview. He said basically technology so they can be immortal, which we already know. But he's blatantly said it out his mouth just in the recent interview, bro. So that's the whole goal, like you just said.
Finish out this verse, right? Sirach 12 and 12. Set him not by thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. Right. Because you will be cut to the core when it happens. So you got to take heed to this man. And don't let him sit, like you said, don't let him invite us to cook out and all that goofy ass shit. This man is the devil.
Some people think they've seen the worst that Esau either. Going back to, Esau's history, what he's done to you so-called Negroes and Native Americans. You ain't seen the worst yet. The best is yet to come. When it speaks about Daniel 12th chapter, Jeremiah 30th chapter. The brothers read Revelation the 12th chapter. Going into this devil's about to come down hard on you so-called Negroes and Native, because he knows that his end is there, bro.
Oh, that's just really, let me just read a little bit more of this, because like I said, bringing it full circle, I had asked ChatGPT, how would the big beautiful bill affect the poor? All right, and then I basically narrowed it down to what sector I was referring to or context, right? It says, I'm gonna read it one more time. If the big beautiful bill refers to legislation that cuts government assistance programs like food stamps, Medicaid, or Medicare, the effect on the poor would likely be significant and negative. Here's how. It said food stamps cut. If SNAP benefits are reduced, millions may lose access to affordable, nutritious food. Child hunger and malnutrition could increase.
What is it?
Single black woman.
Child hunger.
She eating babies.
Yeah, and that's the spirit, right? That's what it's going. That's it.
Can I add to you real quick by saying that it's no longer going to be a green tree but a dragon?
Yeah.
Because if they're going to lack, it will. Can you bring that?
It says child hunger and malnutrition could increase, particularly in low-income households.
Not good. It's going to.
Local food banks and charities will likely face increased demand, economic ripple effects. SNAP spending helps local economies.
You got
right. So it ain't even not just necessarily gonna take an effect on the poor, but it's gonna affect the rich too. Or, you know what I'm saying?
Because they profit off the SNAP.
That's the point. They own the grocery store. These motherfuckers are the distributors and the manufacturers of the food. We are able to spend these food stamps on SNAP benefits on, man. So that's why it's gonna affect the Edomites, because they own the grocery stores. Save a lot right there in the hood, right there. A nigga don't own that. You walk 5 minutes, you got a Save a lot right there in the hood. A nigga don't own that. A nigga don't own Shoppers World right next door to it, man. It's some Edomite that live in motherfucking Chardon or Talmadge or Yorksville, Ohio somewhere. You see? You know?
Hey, you got a term called.
They shoot? They shooting their guns? Yeah. Niggas, man,
Hey, if I may say, Salakia, just add to your point, you got to look on the school doesn't.
Y'all can't get tough to get
Yeah, if you got in this general area, right? Only one supermarket that's supplying the entire community, right? What would you suspect? All right, if that one store closes, it's going to become a food desert. That was a major talking point in the Collinwood region. If brothers familiar with Collinwood, they had the Dave's supermarket closed. Okay, all right, they had the Dave's supermarket that closed, and all the residents were complaining about not being able to sustain themselves. All right, so brothers, get y'all closing.
Get your girls.
That's I Rashad. That dude name was Peter Thal. He the co-founder of the Palantir. Y'all brothers know something about the Palantir co-founder. Yeah, that's his name. But that nigga with the military.
Go ahead.
Good.
Lift up.
This Revelation 11 and 14, it says the second woe is past. Behold, the third woe coming quickly. When that second woe is World War III, that third woe is I'm sorry, the second woe is World War II, the third woe is World War III, man. And the reason why it's about to happen because, like I always say, it's like in Exodus 15, it's saying that the hurtful words is fulfilled. This place is not just America, but the whole world is ran off of wickedness because of America. And so the Lord had to do a great cleansing by sending the mysteries in this place and other places. I'm going to jump down to verse 18 and say, and the nations were angry, and thy wrath was come, and the time of the day that they should be judged. Revelations, it say, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants, the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great, and should destroy them which destroyed the earth. And who destroyed the earth? Esau, Edom. So for a white man, Brad, he destroyed the earth with all his different philosophies and his technology, man. And all it did is what? It creates wickedness throughout the earth, man. They got everybody bugged out. That's why I said these nations that, But the Lord is going to send some cleansing by destroying these lands, man, by that fire, man. That's why Apostle Tahar coined this year as well, the hopeful year of the hopeful year of destruction, and the hopeful year of deliverance and destruction, and the destruction of Esau, man.
Right. The Wednesday is going to be of your ass, Esau. You like to talk about ethnic cleansing, it's going to be you.
Because once we get Esau off the picture, then the earth gonna be perfect. With cats, you gotta feel the whole and get rid of the whole thing.
Well, y'all remember that scene in on Black Panther when Esau came to Wakanda? His biggest stars. He started fucking shit up, man. And his ass was so stupid. He didn't know how all the things was being ran and stuff like that. Like what's the nigga name?
T'Challa.
T'Challa. Yeah.
T'Challa.
His sister was explaining to him, what I'm saying, how the church was working on stuff like that. And he was like,
About to wrap up, yo.
I'm stupid at this one person.
Get that, since you quoted that. We'll see, yeah, get that.
Cyber Ecclesiastes, chapter 2, verse 10. The physician cut it off along the years. And he that today the kingdom, tomorrow shall die.
Yeah, the physicians being Hawashai. So it's gonna cut that long disease. The long disease being Esau Edom. He is the cancer of the earth. He's the one that's been going around. It's been like a plague in the earth. The total disease and chaos is happening, man. And then one more thing, get by the end, somebody get 1 Peter 4 and 7.
And you got niggas running around with guns, We talk about the 250th anniversary. You know what I'm saying? The weapons of our warfare ain't corner, man. That's what niggas gonna come to the realization. I can't wait till niggas run out of bullets. That's why when you go into the joint, niggas ain't got no guns. It's different up there. You know what I'm saying? That only the strong survive, man. You got these niggas that's wild as fuck, man. They talk about a wild bull in a fucking net. That's what these niggas is around there, man. Wild bull in a but brothers ain't scared. We ain't scared. We know how to handle you niggas. You calm a nigga down like Apostle Tahar said. You calm a nigga down. You de-escalate this situation, man. Bunch of fucking niggas, man. Come on, what y'all got?
First Peter chapter 4, verse 7. But all things is at hand. Be therefore sober and watch unto prayer.
Right, the scripture say, like the brother just read, it says, but the end of all things is at hand. It says, be therefore sober. What does it mean to be sober? Let's break it down. Get the verse out.
The word sober in the Greek is
Strong G 4993.
sophroneo. It says to be of sound mind, to be in one's right mind, to exercise self-control, to put a moderate estimate upon oneself.
Right. Like I say, it's just to sum it up, it's to be circumspect. If you're not sober-minded, you're not aware of your surroundings. Circumspect means to see. An individual who's not sober-minded is not aware of his surroundings and what's going on. That's why many people who are inebriated or drunk tend to crash because they're not aware of their surroundings and the things that's around them. To be of a sound mind, a whole complete mind, ultimately related to scripture.
The scripture says, the Lord has not given you a spirit of fear, but a sound mind. There you go. There you go. And like the right Alex said, so you want to make sure you want to make sure that the Lord has not given you the spirit of fear, but you're in your right mind, man. You know what I'm saying? So, you praise edifying, you know what I'm saying? With that, we want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh. I double honors to our apostle, the elder great millstone, Shalom, Wakasa, Lana Bagyar, peace and mercy to the elect, and the Lord willing to edify, they send you, Shalom.
Wow.